we're back on.
All
Let's
right.
continue.
Okay, so with all of this in process, what this means is by November 21st, we're scheduled to start hanging drywall over in that area. So it'll start coming together. And that's primarily, we'll start in the sped restroom, which we've got our plumbing roughed in. I don't know if you took a look in there. And the breakout room and sped resource room, we hanging drywall. And then by the end of November, we've got kindergarten, staff lounge, first grade, we'll be installing drywall. And I believe that leaves maybe the staff lounge, but anyway, by the end of November, first week of December, we should supposed to have our drywall hung out. So that's some good, and the drywall actually be a little ahead of schedule, so we'll be in good shape at that point. At the exterior, the demo of the old modular, I don't know, did they start that?
I started it today.
Did they?
It's-
Yeah, okay.
It's a hazardous area out
Yeah.
there right
Yes.
now.
Yeah, so they're removing that old modular and they're gonna start salvaging the old playground and this week and removing existing utilities. So they're just starting their work to get ready to do the excavation for the footings for the modular. Modular gets set in February. And so that's basically where we're at. So I think they're making good progress and so we're where we want to be at this point in construction. So,
And I want to say thank you to you, Steve. Steve's been really good about, well, and Paul too, don't get me wrong, but about making sure we're looking at the budget consistently. And especially as we go into this phase where it's our bond and awesome dollars. Not that we weren't looking at everything during the seismic, but now we're talking about a different pool of money. And so Steve's been really good about making sure we're staying on top of things. And then Cindy as well, working with Sean over there at H&K, their book person. So just wanted to say thank you to both of you for that and Sean himself too. So thank you.
Speaking of Paul, he became an American citizen last week.
Yeah.
Yay, that's awesome.
That's pretty
Congratulations.
cool. It was at
Very
the museum in Minville, the
Evergreen.
yeah,
Yeah.
the airplane museum.
Didn't know that's where they did it, like the spruce goose,
Yeah.
spruce goose there. Is that what they
It was
did?
one of
That's
those buildings.
cool.
The spruce wasn't in the building, the spruce goose, but it was in one of those buildings.
Okay.
It was
That's very
pretty awesome to see. Speaking of seismic, we just got our last, special inspection, they call it. They spec for, your hold down, your fasteners. It's a private party that comes in and does inspections that the county doesn't, but they're certified to do that. And so they'll be able to give us our final report, so I can start the closeout on the seismic project this month. So as soon as I get that letter, then the engineer can write his final letter, and there's photos and just a lot of information that Business of Oregon wants at the end of the project. And then Cindy be working on final billing, so we get that in and we can close out the seismic account. Then we'll get a really good picture of where we're at overall, budget-wise. I mean, we're still looking really good. So far, what we have uncovered in terms of our costs against our contingency, we haven't really run into any big major things. I mean, there's 2 or 3 items that we've discovered are going to be some costs, but I think we're going to be okay on our contingency also. So that's all. By the time we get drywall on, we'll have a better picture of if there's any unknowns, and we'll have be able to find all of that and get a good handle of where we're at.
And that's big for him to say that, just by the way. He's like you three.
Yeah.
So he's one of you on that part. So he's definitely the one that's been, we got to make sure.
Yeah.
So it's good. It feels reassuring to me to have you say that. And that's kind of what we thought.
Yeah,
But that's really good to hear that.
okay. Any questions? All right.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Appreciate it.
We have that couch in my office, my old office, if you just want to stay the night.
Might be
I
easier.
can make it up. I'm not a night person, as you can tell. I get up pretty early in the morning.
Well, thank you, Steve.
Thanks,
We
Steve.
appreciate it.
Okay.
Alright.
And Steve, I will say one thing, if that's all right, on the way. I was with different ag teachers today, and the people from Dayton had some really good things. It was in Dayton, and they had some really good things to say about your firm, including their ag teacher, who is a curmudgeon when he needs to be. And so
Yeah.
it's still Mitch. So he just had some really nice things to say about H&K and
Good, good.
working with you guys. So I thought that was great to hear.
Yeah.
And I know you guys are doing another ag project for them. It sounds like too, they're gonna be expanding some of their ag and CTE
Yeah,
stuff.
we got into their CT building.
I heard they have to disassemble all of their greenhouses and move them.
Oh, yeah, we got some work to do.
Glad it's them.
Yeah.
I was laughing. That's what I told him, like, I'm so glad it's you.
Mhm, mhm.
So anyway, thanks again.
All right, thank you.
Okay, let's move to item 4B, reports, superintendent reports.
You bet. So, we've had a lot of stuff here. Let me get to the pages that on again, 27.
Yes.
I'll actually read that. Thank you. So it just talks about here, eventful for everybody, students in school, their homecoming, harvest, carnival, playoff games, getting into the remodel gym. Those are good moments for our school, for our kids to celebrate. I think people enjoy being able to eat inside the gym instead of outside. The weather
in
held
time.
off just in time. We
Mhm.
were able to get back in, so the timing was really great. I want to, again, I keep saying it in almost every meeting it seems like, but the flexibility of our students, our staff, our maintenance staff on top of that has been tremendous, and everybody took that well, that we were outside eating the first 6 weeks. I mean, the weather held off really well, but it was really great timing overall. So very thankful for that. Our students and families truly appreciate these types of events we're going through. We've been able to do, and I kind of talked about it earlier as we look at other, Katie, I was talking about, events that we do, et cetera. We always have a lot in the fall. So looking for some other ones aside from just Christmas program, which is great, but some other ones besides just that, basketball games during the winter time. So I talked to the board and said, if you have any other ideas, maybe heard about, let us know. But we're really trying to keep that engagement going throughout. We have a math night that we're going to be doing as well that Christy talked about a little bit earlier as well, I mentioned. We've also seen the end of the first grading period come and go about a week ago. As we head into the second quarter, it's kind of crazy. The first 2 months of school are 10 weeks now. And I look forward to continuing to building on routines and learning opportunities with our students throughout the winter. It was great to see those kids get the opportunity today. We're going to talk about leadership conference here in a minute, but having those opportunities to connect with their small group from our school, but then also the others from other schools is really great. And our staff being able to get some peeks in the construction. This is when it's tangible. So just like for all of us, when we walk through, and once we get the sheetrock on, that's going to make it look that much better and that much more like there's a finish line finally. So it's really good because being out in those modulars for some of our teachers for this long, and Mrs. Riggs said they're having to go back and forth all the time. It's just a lot of time out there going back and forth over the last couple of years. So really excited about that. And talked about it in here, and Steve mentioned it. During that first or second weekend in February, they're actually going to come in on that Thursday. They'll have 13 pieces total. 7 will be out in the back parking lot and the gravel area. So we'll have to kind of change that loop for that day. And then on the other 6 will be out here with the crane. They'll set this first 6, and they'll move the other 7 into place. And in one day, they'll set all those pieces. So that will be really cool to see.
What was the date you said on that one?
It's either that first or second weekend of February. So it just kind of depends. Katie, that's gonna be contagious. You gotta get
Sorry.
up early.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm used to it. When I have my meetings with Aaron and Chrissy, Aaron does that to me all the time too. It's okay. Yeah, my wife too. It's okay. It's all right.
It's been a long day.
Yeah. So, and then lastly, congratulations, our football and volleyball teams again qualifying for state. The guys got a good win in that first round, 42-0 over Camas Valley, and we're able to move on to quarterfinals. Obviously, met a buzzsaw with St. Paul, and we turned the ball over a lot. Instead of fumbles, it was interceptions this time. But we were able to move the ball better when it wasn't a tsunami. But we just had too many turnovers overall. But again, I thought getting our boys back there, we have a lot of returners this next year, so we're excited about what the future holds. But no shame in losing to a really quality St. Paul team that is the odds-on favorite to win the state title. So never like losing to them, but guys and girls had a good season. So. And the guys got to play their playoff games a little closer than the girls did. So we were thankful for that. So, all right. So that's it for the superintendent report.
Thank you.
But,
All right, let's go to elementary and middle school reports.
Middle school, you'll talk a little bit about in just a minute that we've had our first middle school dance of the school year. And of course, that got to be in the small gym, the new old gym. The middle school kiddos had their first rewards trip, and that was pretty successful. A lot of the kiddos were able to go, and they were rooted on by their middle school staff, making sure they had all their work done, so they were able to attend. Our carnival was great. It was really fun to be back. Having that carnival and in the planning stages, we had a good solid committee where people just stepped in and lots of volunteers. And I don't really think that there was too much that we'd go back and change. So I feel like we can just keep adding to it in the coming years. I also wanted to note that we had our first art rotation using Miss Stevenson as the art teacher, and that's been a huge learning curve for her, but she's put in so much time and the projects have just been phenomenal. So that's been really fun to watch. She'll be back again within the elementary classrooms in about 6 weeks. We've also been able to start our morning meeting time in the small gym with the entire elementary. It's just, there's something about the ring of the whole elementary saying the Pledge of Allegiance together each morning, and playing with their basketballs and jump ropes and just everybody meeting in there in the morning. So that's been really, really a nice twist to the last couple of weeks. So I think that really describes our elementary and middle school the last few weeks. You wanted to talk, did you want to mention anything more about the dance? It was well attended.
Yeah.
I don't know why we
I
call
know,
it a
yeah.
dance necessarily.
yeah, we can just talk about that. Is it all right if we talk about, we're going to talk about the leadership stuff and spotlight on education.
Yeah, and I was gonna bring up that.
Perfect.
Does that work? Okay.
Okay, let's move to the special education report.
All right, we have 30 kids on IEPs, a few more receiving accommodations through 504. Our second parent night we had a few more parents. I think we're going to be doing this annually because it really was really informative, and it was just nice to have an advocate here at our school. We all got certified in MANT. Shauna is our MANT trainer. So that was nice. Usually we've got a good chunk of staff out for 1 to 2 days throughout the year. And so it's nice now that we're all on the same calendar. So we don't need to worry about who needs to be recertified.
Aaron, can you kind of go in what MANT is, maybe a little bit?
Yeah, it's crisis intervention, kind of going over a student who's kind of crawling up the crisis cycle and then down, and how to support them each step of the way. And then if it has to get physical, kind of using different holds and how to do that. But the focus is the relationships and what to do when kids are at baseline to keep them at baseline. So that's what that is. And then a few of us got to see the new building and room, and we're all super excited.
Erin's just excited she doesn't have to be up on the stage during the Christmas performance.
Yeah,
This is-
yeah, that'll be nice.
We're
Quiet.
gonna funnel that music into your
Oh
room.
my gosh.
We have one of those little, what's the,
I know.
what are they called, Eagles or whatever they're called, yeah.
Oh able to be an understudy for the
Yeah.
for a random second grader in the voices program.
All right, thank you. Facilities report, any questions on that? I had a question.
Yeah.
So when he's talking about the modulars and he says gutters, is this something we're looking at for down the road? that
Yes,
we need
it
to look
would
at for budget
definitely be
because
nice to have gutters added. That would be
Okay.
something that we're looking at for this next year and then looking at what that cost would be for that project. But
Okay.
we don't want to add it on to our current
Yeah.
one because that would be, it wouldn't be over 50 grand for gutters. So we would just be adding prevailing wage to our budget, so we don't want to look at making it part of that project. Wasn't part of any scope we had.
And then you and I talked one day about the fencing out back and what we could maybe do to fix some of that or.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some scaling going on over the fences.
Yeah, so, and I already spoke with him about that. I actually, the same day, actually spoke with our local metal
Oh, good.
fab's wife. She was here for some OSED stuff and we talked about potentially him working on some of that and trying to modify that. The crash bars on the emergency exits we're talking about. I just want to say again, the amount of stuff they've had to move and do has been amazing. If you go in the old library right now, we have Mrs. Rugsager in there. It's a storage area. It's our after school area. We have 4 people, Miss Stevenson, who is here subbing a lot, and Christy and Aaron and April Shore are all in this room. That's a big office space, basically, just working, trying to make stuff work. So it's pretty remarkable. And then Cindy is putting up still with me for the rest of the year, it looks like.
Yes.
Thank you.
No problem.
But yeah, our guys have been
Thank you for the Alexa.
fantastic.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice.
He brought his Alexa in. I'm like, how did I never have one of these before?
And
Except
then-
sometimes they borrow it and I don't know they borrow it and I talk to it and it's not listening to me. And I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, oh, Alexa's not actually there.
So Erin does a Throwback Thursday song every Thursday, and she does a great job. I butcher it when she's gone. I have to do it, but she does like a
Yeah, they're great.
weather forecast, a business traffic update, and all that, and then does a song, from whatever year. So it's been something we look forward to. So when we do that, she steals the Alexa now.
I see.
So we'll have to get Erin one of her own, I guess, here in the future.
Love it.
Yeah, it's great.
Elementary doesn't get to hear it because they're in the
It's
small
amazing.
gym, but yeah, she does a really good job.
Your
We're talking about
Thursday
your
morning throwback Thursday.
Oh,
Yeah.
It
That's
gets her, it makes her excited about Thursdays.
it's the only reason I'm still here. I'm just kidding. No, it is super fun though.
Well, that and the new office.
And the new office, yeah. Yeah.
Let's move to C, Spotlight on Education.
You bet. So we'd like to recognize, we have our holiday projects coming up. Obviously, we're well known for Food for All throughout the region, and the fact that the conference thing today with the ag people, kids were talking about Food for All coming up, and even in other school districts, the kids know about and get excited about Food for All. Some of them were helping our student ambassadors go around with Hutch and go door to door. And for those who know the history of that Food for All program and where it started to where it is now, it's pretty remarkable how much we're able to do. And again, our students help out, our community members kind of come together, but we all know there's one person that helps really drive that project. And it couldn't happen without the help of everybody, and I get that, and he would be the first to say that. But even after all these years after Hutch is retired, he still puts in the time to do that. Keeps saying he's going to be done one of these years, but I think that his heart's too big to really give that baby up. So we're looking forward to that. But one of the other big projects we've done for 25 years really is we've done Adopt a Family. We've adopted a lot of families in the past and had some really moving moments I've shared with students before where we have one family that they got laid off, they became unemployed, wife had cancer, all this stuff. And we used to help well, you probably did it with me actually, but we would put the food baskets and the presents and stuff into the people's cart. We'd help load them at the county building. And the one person said, hey, I wish I could thank the people who did this. And he was just in tears, you know, and grown man and just with strangers. And he said, I wish I could thank the people who did this. And it happened to be one of our baskets that we did, our families we adopted. And I said, you really mean that? He said, yeah. And so I said, hold on. And I said, kids, come here. And he was able to tell them. Now, this was a lot of years ago, but it was that, you know, type of moment that you see when you go in there and you're helping those people out. And our kids have done really well at that. And Alex is doing leadership for us again this year while Ms. Crawford's on maternity leave. And it was great because she's had so much experience with it in the past. And you know, we're getting ready to do some of our holiday project stuff. But just wanted to talk a little bit about leadership, and Alex is going to talk about the stuff they have been doing and the stuff they are going to be doing. And they had a chance to go to conferences last week at OASC, and she sent Christy and I a picture of one of our students and said, oh my gosh, look, he just jumped up there on stage and is just going for it right now. And so that was a really good picture in time because it was able to see a student who may not normally come out of his shell, came out of his shell at that moment. And just pretty powerful. So
I won't take too long, but it was kind of funny because Dugan and I just kind of passed each other in the hallway and something got brought up and I was like, I can talk about leadership, but I did want to mention with our 8th graders. So we're bringing back the 8th grade trip this year. And so how we're doing it is since we kind of have specialized the teachers, so Ellie, Miss Solomon is the science teacher, it makes more sense for her to do outdoor school because it's all science-based, but that's kind of unrealistic to expect her to do 2 major things. So my son is in 8th grade this year and I would already want to go. So I said, hey, I'll take on the 8th grade trip. But I am horrible at fundraisers. So Christy came up with the idea of doing a haunted house. And I just want to like verbally just commend the 8th graders. They pulled together, I mean, I have a picture I have to show, I'll pass around. They pulled together as a whole team. That day of the haunted house, we took the last 2 periods and kids were helping each other, like putting makeup on, like girls were make-upping the boys. And it was just this team atmosphere. And they put on a phenomenal like the kids talked about it for days. We had almost every 8th grader show up. I even had parents calling saying, my kid wants to skip soccer, you know, is that okay? 2 board member 8th graders were just into it like crazy. Gavin's needle was this long and it was just phenomenal. And it was a fundraiser for the 8th grade trip. And so the carnival committee will give us a certain amount. I don't know quite where we're going to go yet. I know I don't want to do the coast. So I want to try to find a place in Oregon that perhaps the kids wouldn't normally go to. So I know Baker City has always been a big one. It is rather a long ways away. But we'll just get a committee together really soon and get that going. So super exciting though. The 8th graders are really excited about it. It's been a couple years since we could do it. Last year they did just kind of day trips. And so to go away all week is going to be rather interesting. But we'll see. I'll get some parents. I already have a mom willing to do all the food, which is a huge undertaking. So that's awesome. So the leadership. As Dugan said, Crawford.
it's all about.
What?
I just said, does she make deviled eggs? Because that's what it's all about. His mom makes really good deviled eggs. That's why I said.
Oh yeah, my son almost ended up at. Is it your mom across the? Yeah, having dinner the other night because I obviously did not provide dinner yet again. So Owen was bragging about the dinner that Grandma made, so he almost headed over there. But anyways, leadership. So yeah, last year when I took over math specialist, I had to give up leadership. And then Julia is more qualified. She got her master's in math specialist. So it just made sense for her to take that over. But then it didn't quite fit in the schedule that we wanted to do for middle school for me to take it back over. But with Morgan having her baby, it was, asked of me to take it over until she gets back. So I was like, yes, I was super excited. We have a small group. We lost Brandon, Rachel, and Elena, who were huge leadership kids. And so I'm starting kind of from scratch, trying to get them to the point I can pass them off to Morgan in another week. But I did bring 8 students last weekend. I was bummed because the Friday football game moved to Saturday. So right after the Saturday football game, we jumped in the minibus and I took 8 leadership kids, 1 senior, 1 junior, 2 sophomores, and 4 freshmen. So we have a big freshman group that we can kind of mold for the next few years. So basically what Leadership Conference is it's always at Seaside, and we start off Sunday morning. I get a house because it's more contained than the hotel rooms. So we get a house, we do some team building, we just have a lot of fun Saturday night. Sunday we get up and head over to the convention center. There's a big rally and there are at least 1,000 kids there. So I even got a picture of Cameron and Con's face because they were in shock with all these kids. 1A schools are very underrepresented in these sort of conferences. They're definitely 5A, 6A, sort of, standard. So it can be a little overwhelming and sometimes a little frustrating because obviously they have more resources than we do. But at the end of the evening, we come together and we talk about how we can tweak it for Perrydale. And so we kind of get that energy going that way. But it's a big rally. Then we go to the Seaside High School, brand new high school. It's gorgeous. So the kids had a lot of fun seeing just that type of school setting. And they did breakout sessions. And they have to pick 3. And then I just kind of wander around. I went to one advisor. It is not fun for me. So then I skip out on the other 2 advisor ones and I go to the kid ones because they're a lot more enjoyable. So they did different ones from daily announcements because that's a leadership thing that we do. And so a lot of them did that. There was just a lot of different options they could choose from. Then Sunday night, we have a huge dance back at the convention center until 11 o'clock, and the advisors are expected to wander around and chaperone. And they just have a bunch of different events, just a lot of fun for the leadership kids, kind of a different exposure. And then Monday, it's just half a day, and there's a couple keynote speakers. One of them, she was the runner-up in Survivor about 8 years ago. And so she had a powerful keynote speech. And then we get in the bus and we head back home. And then we spend all the week kind of relaying back to the class what we learned. And we kind of just do that. So they had a lot of fun. Cam was super excited that he went as a senior. It's like, I didn't realize this is what it was. I should have done, been doing this all along. But of course, they haven't had it for the last 2 years. So they were pretty excited to get back doing it. And so that brings us into the holiday project. And so we're getting that started, and then Morgan will take that back over. And the Jingle Bell Run is going to be for the elementary kids, the 7th and 8th. And that will bring in some money that we'll have to buy the rest of the presents for the holiday project.
No more copper silver game, finally.
No.
Everyone got tired of counting pennies, including me.
Are there any questions?
So Alex, you guys left on Saturday, correct?
We did.
And what were you doing right before that? I'll give you a hand.
Am I
Snack bar,
Oh, am I supposed to know? Yeah, I mean the football game.
football game and snack bar.
Yeah,
Anyway,
so Snack Bar is a huge fundraiser for the 8th graders as well. The admin team said that if the 8th graders run it, then we could get the proceeds. It generates quite a bit of money. That's going to be our major fundraiser. During basketball season, it's huge. Popcorn is all profit because Les Schwab donates the popcorn for us. So that's all profit, and popcorn sells like crazy. But yeah, the 8th graders have been, they've been working it, and then I'll do the grocery runs and kind of oversee it. Ellie stepped in a couple of times on the home game so I could go watch Connor. But yeah, it's just been a great experience for the 8th graders. Some major ones I should probably do a shout out is Mackenzie Pelzer, Addison Parr, Zoe Thorson have been right on. Ashton did the first home game, and that kid was sweating buckets by the end, and he worked so hard. It was a team of all boys, and I was a little apprehensive, but I'm not kidding you. They worked hard, and he was just sweating, and I really commended him because it was new to him. He volunteered, and it was a really great experience. Silas Burns is a big one in the Snack Shack.
Well, I want to say one other person who's been big is you, and that's where I was going. Before we even started, you were already setting up the snack bar, yelling at your husband a little bit to get stuff ready, but then you were, helping break down snack bar, and then you were off to go do the Seaside thing for 2 nights away from the family and stuff like that. So thank you, especially since this is a
It's a
temporary
blast.
thing, just the amount of time you've put in this fall.
Yeah,
has
I'm
been
gonna
pretty
miss hanging out with
remarkable,
the high schoolers. They're a great group. These 2 girls have been so easy working with the Snack Shack. So, it just takes a whole team, and it's gone pretty smooth. So, but those are the 2 main fundraisers for the 8th grade trip. We are gonna sell clam chowder, so, be prepared. But, yeah, that's it. My last thing though, and Dugan doesn't know this, I want to come and share as a parent. I have a son who does not excel well academically. He struggles immensely from the time he was little. He only pulls C's to play sports, and that is like, he can't hear me, but that's, tears, lots of tears at night trying to get things done. Well, he has a pretty, I don't want to say light afternoon, but I kind of talked to Dugan in April that he's coming, he's a junior, and I'm like struggling as his mom, trying to get him to like plan for his future, because learning, he has an older brother that makes it super easy. He's off in college doing his thing. He didn't have to study a second and pulled all A's. And so he's kind of looking at, his older brother. So Dugan had an idea. He has pulled Connor alongside him for these projects. And every Tuesday, Connor has been in on these meetings, because we obviously, as his parents, are trying to push him towards a trade. And it has just made a huge difference. So I wanted to tell the school board what an amazing admin team you have. Oftentimes staff member kids, rightfully so, kind of get pushed off because we don't want, people to think we're showing favoritism. You had, kids go through. But so for Dugan to see that Connor is a good kid, but he does struggle, so it doesn't look like he's a good kid on his report card. But so I wanted to come as a parent to say that Matt and I are just beyond thrilled that this admin team, and I wanted you guys to know that. Every Tuesday, he calls his brother, he calls his dad if he can get a hold of him, and he talks to me about like everything he's learned. He has a binder with all his papers. Connor, I don't think has ever clipped a paper in a binder his whole life. So for him to clip a piece of paper in the binder is like huge. So I
Well, we
wanted
love
to
having
end
him, and
with
this is
saying
giving him-
thank you.
Yeah, you
He's
bet.
just soaring in this. So I think he can see light after high school. Like, I'm going to throw the biggest party when we can get that kid graduated. So I wanted to end off just saying thank you from a parent's point of view, because it's making a difference in one kid, and it just happens to be mine. And so I just wanted to say thank you. I want you guys to all know what these 3 are doing for kids, even staff member kids.
Thank you very
That's all I
much.
have.
That's awesome.
Well, the good thing about these meetings too, he's able to meet with our architects, our project managers, the HMK, and the contractors. And then he's really thinking about maybe doing electrician. So obviously with Jed, we have that connection there. And so we'll get him some opportunity to work a little bit more with Jed, his crew that is, and kind of shadow them a little bit too through it. So, when you have somebody who wants to do some type of thing like that, we have that apprenticeship conference thing tomorrow that they'll be able to do at Shemakada as well. So, and I think he's going, I know he's going to that. I saw his name on the list. But those are really types of things that the state finally saw are important. And I wish we would have been down that road probably about 20 years ago, but they've come around now and put a lot of money and invested in that. So they're investing in kids in some really good spots. So we're thankful. So thank you. That was nice. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Alex. Move to item D, audit.
I didn't know that was going to be on there.
Oh.
Okay,
No, that's totally fine. I'll give you an update.
That must
There-
be.
I don't have an update yet,
were
but
there any issues?
I've sent everything to them and they sent me back some notes. I'm actually going tomorrow to meet with a former business manager, not from here, but she was one that I worked with at a different school who's retired now. So I'm going to go work with her tomorrow to get some more guidance on some of their questions. And she's worked with our finance system before the whole time she was there. So she's very familiar with that and where I can find the things that they're asking for within that system. So
She
that's the
was,
plan for tomorrow. And
she was the one that also helped you as you were transitioning
Yeah.
into the role.
Yeah.
She's been
So-
kind of that mentor this year.
Yeah,
So
I've
it's
worked-
been the worst person you work with this summer.
Yeah.
So
so,
that must have been on there from before. From
Probably.
last year. Okay.
but we'll have,
I
should have
apologize. I
another
thought
one.
that you
Nope,
would
should
ask
have
for that.
another one next month. I would assume there'd be something for that
You have
next
it
month.
scheduled
So
already, or?
it's everything's online.
It's-
Like
okay.
just I zoomed with them last week
Okay.
to go over some verification things, and instead of them coming out, it's all just sending and a virtual file. So
Great. All right. Senior trip.
Yeah, so Mrs. Richards was absent today. The seniors are looking to do camping. They didn't have very much money for it, but they're looking to go camping over in Central Oregon. So over by Bend area is where the plan is. So she said that she would be here, but again, she was absent today, so I don't know if she's just sick. But when I get the write-up, I'll just go ahead and email it to you folks, because she is specifically asked to be able to communicate with the board about this. So sounds like it's going to be kind of a no frills thing, but something they want to do. We did ask them if they wanted to do the skip day instead, and they said they'd rather do the camping trip, which is great. Memorial Day weekend, I hope they are ready to get the reservations
Right.
quickly, because right at
Yeah.
is it
super cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, and it's hard to get the reservation. Is it still New Year's Day? That's what it used to be, New Year's Day, and you better be ready on the phone to get, or on the online now to do those reservations, but I agree, it's cold.
Are they tent?
That's what they said they are
Oh
doing.
my, okay.
So I'm not going to chaperone on that trip
me neither.
unless we can go to over by Seams Mountain or somewhere else where they have a yurt and I can
There
stay
you
in
go.
that. They can-
Yeah.
They can tent camp.
Okay, we'll move to item F, resignations.
Yeah, so Chris Gubrid and Craig Hallett were our middle school coaches. And Chris actually had sent this in at the end of August. Craig waited till October 15th. But we did, as you can see on the next one there, we did have some hires. So once they officially resigned, we knew that Craig was going to, just hadn't sent it in. We were able to hire some middle school coaches. Daniel Jones helps out with the varsity team, but he's going to be the head coach. Does a lot of drill stuff with kids, runs some lesson stuff with some of our students here that are younger and older. And then DJ Arthur is one of our instructional assistants. He's been coaching at Sheridan. It's always good to get out of the coaching where you necessarily went to school as well, to go out there and expand a little bit. So we're happy to have DJ. The kids really gravitate towards him, the elementary ones that he works with. He and I don't see eye to eye on teams that we support, but he's definitely
You must be a good American then.
yeah, is that what it is? I'm a communist. Okay. I'm not really communist for the record. But I love football. So anyway,
Anyone's on there.
but yeah, so he's going to help out too. We may also have another volunteer assistant. I'm not sure on that one, but we're looking forward to that. We think that will be great for our kids.
Okay. We'll skip over G since we just kind of covered that one.
Yep.
And move to H, policy committee update.
Yeah, for everybody that may be online or watching this later, we're actually going to put our 4 policies in one AR that we're looking at doing a first reading. We're going to go ahead and put that online on our website at perrydaleschool.com. So we'll do that tomorrow morning on November 15th. So you're able to locate it there. But these were 4 of the ones that were required. Local wellness program had to be updated. What's that?
Can you say?
Oh, yeah, state policy is EFA, local wellness program. The items that are highlighted there, those are the ones that are items that were added in. So you can see those. We had a parent and Trina also had helped out with this. And then we also have a Google Doc that we started. Workplace harassment is the next one, which is GBA. And that one did not have anything that we had to go through. This was just, it's required the way it's written. So that was a pretty easy one. The next one is criminal records, checks, and fingerprinting. This one has given us a bit of a fit in the office because we get conflicting information. ODE does not like it when we have volunteers go through the fingerprinting system. They just want the regular background check. But when we have a volunteer coach that's going to be working with them, then we need to make sure that they go through that. So we treat them like a salaried employee, even if they're volunteering. But we need to make sure that we have people that are doing the fingerprinting, the background check. So we chose to keep going with that one. There were some options there, but if someone is not going to be kind of alone. So for example, if we have a parent that's coming in and working with, like when we used to have the pumpkin bread that Mrs. Thompson used to make, things like that, they don't have to do a fingerprinting for that. But if they're coaching and they're alone or, et cetera, then that would be different. So that's where we were with that. And then also, it talks about if you make a false statement, then you can be let go with your background check, et cetera. Clears up, the fees are paid for by the applicant. Especially if you get somebody that ends up not being hired, you don't want to pay for theirs. But notification, et cetera, that's on there. And then some exceptions that talk about people that already went through this with TSBC. So if we had somebody that came from another school district and they came directly to us from one of our neighboring districts, came to us, they have already gone through the background check process already. And so if they've done it within the last few years, especially, then they're fine on their fingerprinting. So that one's available for everybody, that will be available for everybody to read, but you have it here with you. And then the last one, special education IEP. This was, again, something that we did not need to change at all. Really, they had some updated language that's highlighted, but there wasn't really any bracketed stuff to change. They just had to add stuff in order to make sure that we were up to date. The state of Oregon lost a court case, and so they had to change up what they're doing in order to make sure that they are following all that. That's what all that's from. So again, 2 we looked at and changed up. 2 of them we really didn't need to. We still spent about an hour and a half looking at that. Just as you all know, it's time consuming. So we're going to there's 4 other ones. You were left off the email, so you lucked out.
I was like, what did I miss?
I went to Naomi, I'm like, it's my fault. I'm not putting on you, Naomi. Just, And I'm like, Katie wasn't on the email, was she? And she was like, I don't know. And I said, no, so it's my fault, Katie. But I'm glad you have that. And it's just a first reading.
I'm not complaining.
Yeah, I didn't think you were. So we'll have another one. We'll make sure you're invited. But we have 4 other required ones, and then we want to make sure that we're still going through those. But first reading on this one, we'll have the other first readings for the other ones next month, and then go from there.
Okay. So we'll get that posted. We'll be on the front page. You've been doing some work.
I have.
Yeah.
Trying to make it look
It
better.
looks good.
It looks
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah. Will it be posted on the front page or in a different section, or where can people find that?
I think if we have a link maybe to the front, to that on the front, I think that may be good. We don't want to clutter up too much, but we can look at that tomorrow. Let's
We
take
can
a
move
look.
it later,
Yeah.
right? And, okay.
Let's take a look at that tomorrow and just make it easy for everybody to see and then, but I don't want to mess up what you've been working on either. So that's your baby.
Does look
It
really
looks good
It's
though.
very
Sounds
useful.
good.
It still catches me off guard when I open it. I'm like,
Whose
It's
page is
actually a
this?
site you
Where
want
is
to go to.
My
Yeah.
wrong spot.
Well, it's nice to have some dedicated, we've dedicated time for somebody on staff
Yes,
to do it, and it makes a
exactly.
world of difference, so appreciate that.
Okay, let's move to number 5, consent agenda. Have a motion?
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Items for board action. Did you all have a chance to look at that OSBA elections page that got sent out today?
I think when I checked, I don't think it had come by the time I checked my email.
Is it in the packet? Okay, so they send this out. It's something that OSBA, it's a resolution that they had written up, and then we're supposed to vote on position 13.
Oh, I did read that.
Okay, no one's filed.
Sorry.
Nobody's filed for position 13. So in our section on our page, there's a drop-down section where we can, it's not even fillable there because we don't have any votes filed. So if we wanted to nominate somebody, we could. Otherwise, there's nobody in that position at the moment.
Is your friend from Malala in Region 13?
No, she's not. No. That would solve a lot of problems.
So
but-
can we nominate Trina?
Yeah, well, I don't think she'd appreciate that, but we can.
Second.
Kill him.
Uh,
Literal daggers make
Yeah,
on your way. You weren't here.
She'll be so
Yeah.
excited to hear that when she gets back. The other thing is this resolution. I believe in the past, we have taken no action on this resolution before. We have that option. So there's either that we approve it, that we do not, we take no action, or what's the fourth one?
No action. I would think those are the three.
No,
I didn't
there
know
was
there a
another
fourth
one. I don't remember. In the past, we have taken no action on this. We can, abstain, that was the other one. So we have taken no actions in the past. It is up to you all what you would like to do. This resolution, I mean, it really kind of pertains to OSBA and what they've decided to do. I don't know how any of you feel about passing this, and I'm okay if we don't take any action, or if we want to abstain from this, or whatever you all decide you want to do.
So I have to admit, I glanced at it, but I didn't know what it was. So I
And
just skipped over it.
It's- This resolution is it's their priorities that they have set up
Oh, yeah.
for OSBA, and I guess I kind of feel like it doesn't,
Yeah, I guess I read
It
through it
doesn't
and I
pertain
didn't
to
even
us.
think it was it was theirs. It wasn't, so I totally go with no action because I glanced over and I was like, oh,
good with
this
no
is
no action?
nothing with us.
No action.
Okay. I think I can get on there tomorrow and do that unless you want Naomi to do it.
Yeah, do you have access to that to,
I think it's in the link. There
Okay.
was that ballot that you could fill out. You just
Okay,
have to
I will take
state
a
your
look at it
position.
tomorrow.
Let me know if you need help or need me to do that, because I don't think it really matters. Okay, so then A is we'll take no action on item A. Let's move to item B, copier lease.
so this is what we were looking at when we sent you the emails, and wanted to go ahead and get some bids here. Really, I'm gonna turn this over to Cindy. Cindy did a lot of legwork on this. She was involved with the items the last time we were looking at this. Like I said before, we've had a lot of issues with our copiers. I think that's putting it mildly.
I was out again
Naomi
today.
could probably fill us in on some of the
I
frustration.
did email you all, and it's in your packet. I did a Google form and let the staff comment on their copy machine issue so that it wasn't just my issue. And I got more responses than I thought I would get. And I think only one was, I don't have any issues with the copy machine. Like, do you use it? So Solutions, yes, what you have in the packet is our current company. And then I included Copiers Northwest and Pacific Office Automation. Pacific Office Automation is the company that we had before that the office staff at the time was completely happy with and wanted to keep. But we weren't asked, so we didn't get to keep them. The cost difference, there is a little bit of a cost difference. Pacific Office will buy out the rest of the months for what we have for Solutions. Yes, they will pick up the copy machines and give us the new copy machines, and they will hold on to them at their warehouse until our lease is up, and then they will send them back to Solutions, yes, or wherever they came from. So there will be an out-of-pocket cost at first, and then they'll issue us a check for that amount back. So it'll be like an in and out for that.
And that totals.
16, let's see, it's on the third. It's on one of these pages, I believe. Maybe it was just on my email. I'll have to look on the email.
Yeah.
16,000 and something is what, and that was at the time of her initially starting this, and that was a couple months ago, so it might be a little less than that now because it's been a couple of months. The copy machines, they are a different brand. They're the same ones that we had previously that we liked, and as far as the number of copies and all of those things go, it's similar to what we have for Solutions, yes, as far as the 600,000 copies included, and then we pay the overage once we reach that, which is the same as what we're doing now. Dan has reached out to Solutions, yes, with emails a couple of times with no response, like trying to get them to make it right. Like I said, they were down again today, and we were just kind of in limbo waiting for them to clear out the error code on their end. And until they do that, until they call us back and find out what the issue is, and then do that, we're just without the copy machine. As a printer, like we all use it as our printer and as the copy machine and the fax. So.
And it's more the phone calls when we do get a response, they just send a tech out. And it's just constantly
Yeah.
it's a circle.
There were several weeks just this school year that it's been several days in a row that we've had a tech out. So we would really like to switch. And I know Dan mentioned, I think, to maybe one or two of you, some of the phone things we finally got figured out and that we've been paying for. I found out we've been paying for numbers that have been disconnected for a couple of years that we finally got canceled. So we're actually on that saving more than the difference between the two copiers are for the monthly fee. So Copiers Northwest is ridiculously higher than the other one. So
From the beginning, this has been a problem. I mean, ever since the first day that they installed.
Yeah.
And I know for me, I have to work the same kind of equipment. If I cannot do my job efficiently, that's not helpful.
Yeah.
You guys are the ones that are touching these machines every day. So I know before you have said that Pacific Office Automation was there when you guys needed assistance. Yeah. And it worked well. So I mean, yeah, and when you're looking at a buyout, it seems like it would work out okay.
And then the Copiers Northwest one, Cindy.
Yeah, that's in there. So it looks like they would do the buyout too. He did tell me that he thought what we currently had was a bit much as far as the copiers. He didn't think that schools needed copiers with that capacity. And I said, you are certainly wrong. Have you been to a school? Because we do, in fact, need that. And it's $815 a month versus $511. And that does not include a number of copies. That's that much plus we pay from copy one per copy. So,
It's quite a bit.
and we don't have an option. They, Pacific Office, we had options of different machines that we could choose from, and we went with what we knew. And that's why the Konica was the one she gave us. But they only do, Copiers Northwest only does Canon.
And they had 60 months at 815.
That's what that's what it would be through them.
So they're not even in the ballpark.
No. I'm kind of afraid to tell him. He wasn't very nice on the phone. I mean, he wasn't mean to me. He's just a very aggressive person.
Trina's not here. We'll have her do that.
So,
Just kidding, Trina.
So cost difference, bottom line, you said there's a savings with the phone lines. Switching everything over, what's our total at that 16,000?
Yes, that's it. Yep, it would be an in and out.
Yeah, so whatever we still owe, on
Check
top
my-
here, they'll do that. And then as far as our monthly payment, there's a difference of about $70, a little less than that. So what we would do is we'll actually save money a little bit each month if you look at the phone and the copier, which aren't really related, but we were just talking about to try to stay net neutral. We'll actually be, it looks like saving a little bit. We still want to make sure we look at one more thing with Quest, but we should be saving quite a bit. And even if we aren't, $800 a year is well worth the money
Oh, yeah, definitely.
to get the
To have
copiers
equipment
working.
that works and a tech nearby.
Okay, so, I just moved to enter into a contract with Pacific Office Automation for a new copier, not to exceed $511 a month.
A second. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Okay, let's.
I
move
did
to-
like
I'm sorry.
that there was one comment here on the sheet that it's like, that it's often out of paper. I'm like, well, I don't think
Yeah.
that's what the question she was asking about.
Yeah,
No,
No.
we don't know if it's out of paper if you don't tell us.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's also a mouse in the workgroup copier.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, my Naomi,
There was?
my Naomi went
That's
to
not on there.
Oh, I was like, I
But
missed
that was
last
actually
weekend after
happened in there.
school. She went to put colored paper in the drawer and she opened the drawer and there was a mouse in the drawer. So she shot it really fast and came to this one and Troy got it
I
out.
caught that mouse that day.
Yeah, he did. He got it.
Oh my gosh.
She's like, I don't think I can go back there.
Lucky that's gonna be where the food science.
Oh,
It happened when all the boxes from the old elementary area were moved over here. I traveled with.
Oh.
Not classroom boxes, but just storage boxes of paper.
All right, move to 7, patron input. And seeing none. Okay. Number 8, board comments. Just wanted to say a big thank you to the DLT for working so hard on the goals. That was a lot of work and we really appreciate you guys putting that much time into that. So, thank you very much. Number 9, announcements, dates of importance. So it's like conferences, 21st and 22nd.
Yep, next Monday, Tuesday. So Monday is the late one that we get to work 12 hours that day and then we do 4 the next day. So we have a really good opportunity to work with our staff and the parents and we'll work with parents if they need to do something where they're remoting in, we can do that, which some people really appreciated that over the last couple of years if they're at work. We prefer always to try to get in person if we can, but we know that doesn't work with everybody's schedule as well, so. Yep, so we're happy to have that. And a good Thanksgiving for everybody after that.
Yes, 21st, 25th Thanksgiving break. Next work session and board meeting on the 12th,
6:30.
6:30.
All right, okay.
Let me see. Yep, I have it for 6:30. Anything else?
Yeah, actually, one other thing, we have Christmas performances coming up, I believe. Are they the week of
December 8th.
8th, right? So December 8th, we'll have that. It's always great to have, that's a big thing. Everybody seems to really enjoy it, except for Aaron.
I'll probably enjoy it this year.
So look forward to it. It's a lot of time and effort. Our staff work with our music program and music teacher to find that time to make it work, and we appreciate that. It's a lot of time. The effort goes into it.
Anything else?
That's it.
All right, so we will adjourn at 8:03.
All right, not our shortest, but
No, Brian still holds the record.
was that 25 minutes?
Something, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a lot, better than that time last year.